Hello, people. Tommy Hawksblood here, calling from the big island of Hawaii. All right, this is the kind of show I never normally do, but I just feel it's really important right now for people to wake up. And what's that mean? Understand what's going down, what could happen, and what's going to really affect us in the next year or two, up until the next presidency and everything else in between. Sure, right now the biggest battle is between Biden and Mr. Trump. All right. I get letters every day about it, asking me for my opinion and money, which I'm sure everybody else gets as well. But going against Trump is a serious problem because he's going to stop at nothing to try to get to where he wants to get to. With all the crime going on in the world, people being killed, children being killed, and all the other horrible things, we got two politicians already fighting, all the people around them fighting. For what? Their viewpoint, their ability to take control over us. People, it's time to be aware that the biggest percentage of the people are middle class and poor people in the United States. That means you and me, most likely. All right. The last 10 emails I got today, I get them like every day from Democrats or Republicans, and they're always asking for money. They have a set of questions they ask you. This, that, and the other thing. But how about like they put something like really important in there, something new, because they probably don't have a clue what's going on. Now, in the past couple of years, we had Biden as a president. A couple of things changed. I mean, we're still fighting over an abortion law. Some people believe it's right, some people don't. Some Christians believe in it, and some don't. It's not like there's a real set viewpoint on anything in this planet or in this country. And it seems like they change their minds over different things real easy. But what's wrong with the United States is humans don't have the right to defend themselves, protect themselves, or do what they need to do or want to do in their own home. Nobody should have the right to tell you what you can eat, drink, do, smoke, or anything in your own home. Nobody has that right. Nobody should have the right. We didn't have the right to kill Native people, did we? And we did. And we slaughtered 49 million Native people. All right. What do people think? Well, let's start somewhere. All right. I'm going to get into the Constitution, but let me just go over a few things. The middle class and poor people are considered, I guess, anybody making under $75,000 a year. I mean, different people say 50,000, some say 100,000, but the middle class is below 50,000, having the hardest time to survive with food prices, gas prices, rent prices. Rich people don't. They don't care about those things, do they? They don't need to. They got more important things to do, like find a better place to hang out and have fun, better place to drink, better place to party. All right, another place where to take more money from poor people. All right. Sadly, the Constitution was only for the rich people. People, do you understand that? When it was created by rich people, outlawing poor people to be involved. Poor people couldn't vote. That was totally unconstitutional, even at that time. But the Constitution, a bunch of rules and regulations created by some rich people, obviously didn't want to deal with Native people, didn't want to deal with poor people. Guns were created for a reason. Gun was part of the Constitution so man could kill Native people. Sorry to tell you that. They got paid for scalps of Native people, not vice versa people. Native people that live on the reservation are still being persecuted. And children were persecuted up until the early 20s and 30s, and still in some parts of the United States up until the 70s. Meaning they take children away from native homes and put them in Catholic schools and things like that. Well, we're living in the worst time of the history of this planet right now. The people on the reservation are lucky to be alive. They were put in the worst condition areas in the United States, assuming they would die. You don't hear anything about Native people on TV or anywhere. I actually heard something today on the TV about a Native tribe. All right, and they're talking about why they should be part of politics. One person should be, and it was in the documents written for the Native people, that one person, Native person, should be involved in the Congress and things like that. And it was a while ago. And they kind of got him out because he wore Native regalia, which is, how can you stop a person from dressing the way they are and supposed to be? All right, but they did. But you don't hear the news. Don't hear what's going on. And now, between Mr. Trump and Biden, we hear the events, but nobody's talking about the real problems. The problem is they don't talk about the problems ever. The real problems. People coming into the United States. Well, every white person, every native, not tribal person, every black, white, yellow people came into the United States. Anybody stop them way back when? They're all here now. And any one of them can go back to their own country. The Native people can't. They live here. This was their home. This was their growing period place where they lived from birth to death. And who has the right to take that away? White man? The English? The British? Look, we're going through serious problems. There's only 1 million Native people left in the United States. True native tribal people. Sorry, it's a horrible thing. And man doesn't take responsibility. Oh, let's have a Catholic holiday. Let's have a Jewish holiday. Let's have all these different kind of holidays. But what about Native holiday? There is not one federal holiday. Why is that? Black people want everything. Native people just want equal rights, which they don't have. Still, people. Ones on reservations are still in homeless conditions and everything else. Mr. Bush promised to build homes and everything. What did they do? Give them 6 trailers, and in those 6 trailers, people were being killed because of the way they built the trailers. All right, there's many lawsuits going against the government, especially the Black Hills and things like that. Do you hear anything about it? No, you hear Trump trying to defend the pipelines because, Native people are trying to stop them. And what's he say? Well, anybody that tries to stop it will get 25 years in jail for interfering in the pipeline. And while it happened when he was president, they tortured those Native people out there for months and months and months trying to stop the pipeline. On TV for a couple of times. Oh, there was a couple hundred people. There were thousands of people there. And they had planes flying over them, dumping water on them in the freezing cold weather, sending dogs to attack them. It was a horrible situation. And it was okay by the government. All right, this is your government, people, not mine. Now, what you don't hear, all right, is the things behind it. Trump brings a Native elder out who says, all Native people love him. Well, whatever he paid that chief to say that, it was a horrible thing because Native people do not like Trump. Period, people. And if they do, they're sure not on the reservation. But here's the thing. We're moving forward, aren't we? We're really close to war. And when we hear global warming. We hear it over and over. Trump's not for it. He doesn't care. Biden says, well, we'll try to stop it. But if you don't talk about the real problems, you're not going to stop a problem. Nobody in government can talk about the real problems of what is causing global warming and world changes. Should I tell you? Do you not have a computer where you can't find out what's really going on? What causes the change in weather? What causes major storms? What causes a lot of these things? Not God. Not Mother Earth. Man does. Sure, trees produce oxygen, water evaporates, but even when let's see, I don't want to get into it, when they use a HARP system to control storms in the ocean. And now the newest weapon is directed energy weapons, which they used on the United States already. Find out the facts about these things, people. You want to know what's causing problems? Fracking. Do you know what fracking is? Ask everybody in Congress to sit down and write the definition of what fracking means. Ask them to write down what all these different things I'm going to talk about mean. Do you know what fracking is? All right. A geothermal plant. Do you know what it is? Do you know what it does? Do you know anything about the HARP system? And another past word, like people don't care, chemtrails. Do you know what they do, what they can do? And it's been used since 1950s. And imagine 50 years later how technical it is. I'm not going to get into it, but things you need to understand what is really causing our problems. China wants to go right into the core of the planet. That's their next step. All right. We are blasting holes and pouring chemicals in them with fracking and things like that. We're testing bombs here in Hawaii. They just got a new drone here and they're testing it to see how it can drop bombs and everything else. We're moving into a very dangerous place, people. And if you think Trump or Biden cares what's happening to you or me, you better be thinking again. I want to get into a few things that people do not talk about. Because they all live in a box. You become a politician, you have to be rich, and you have to fit into their little box they put you in. If Trump gets reelected, I am sure you will find out the truth, a lot more truth about aliens. Putin came out twice. When Trump got elected, he faced Trump and said, I want you to tell the truth about 9/11, what really happened. I want you to tell the world what you're doing with aliens. And Mr. Putin said, we're working with 27 alien races. 2 of them want to destroy the planet. How would they know that? People, there's so much going on outside of normal people like you and me. Well, maybe you. I'm on top of all of it. I've been involved with a lot of it. All right. Putin was the first person to come out president to admit it. And Trump, when they met each other, they were together, what, for 2 hours? The next day, Trump comes out and says, I'm creating a space army. We had a space army, but he says he was creating one. Now, something you need to think about. When the United States say they have no money, and it's all about money, nobody knows how much gold the United States has, first off. I know they're trying to make it oil as the backing, and now they're going to go to computerized money, which is nothing. But basically, what do you think about it? Do you understand anything about it? About gold? How much gold the United States has and really has? Or really doesn't have? I tell you, we have a lot more than they pretend they have. We have no deficit. They spend $720 billion a year on the space and warp program. And I'm serious about that. A spaceship's coming out next month, within a year. That costs $40 billion. It's going to be one of the most dangerous weapons on the planet. But who's paying for it? You and me. How much money do the Army and Navy and Marines spend on weapons? All right. That's a lot of money, considering they can't come up with this little bit of money for this or this little bit of money for that. And they claim this, that, and the other thing, and still tax the poor people and middle class more money? Realize the rich don't pay the same, don't get affected the same way, and don't have to worry about anything, where we do. I'll admit this. I was living with a billionaire, and when that stock market crashed, he lost half of his money. But again, if you know anything about the New World Order, who controls war, who controls the money situation, when they decide that let's make the money crash, let's do this, it's a decision. Nothing happens by accident unless an alien comes down and blows up the city. All right, everything's predestined by government, by rich people. Sure, I'm prejudiced. Why? Because rich people don't care about poor people. You know, in the past 50 years, all the money spent on drugs, how many cures did they come out with that actually cure a disease? Well, my partner was lucky to get cured by one of the worst diseases, but it only cost $70,000, $1,000 a pill. You think that's normal, right? I know Biden wants to make medicine a legal price, a right price. But again, when they pay these people to work on something, what are they paying them to do? Cure a disease? They can't cure the common cold. They can't cure a lot of the simple things. Diabetes could have been cured a long time ago. Cancer can be cured, people, but the United States will not allow it to happen. I can't go into that. I know I would lose my show completely. But the truth's out there. Check out information in other countries. What they do for cancer. What they do not do in the United States. People, the rich people don't care about simple problems like we have to. Can we buy dinner tonight? What can we have? Potatoes, bread and toast. Bread and butter. What do you expect? Can we have lobster every night? Hawaii, the prices are escalating every month. It goes up. The average thing goes up about $1 every month now. Things that were $3 are now $8. Pizza that was like $10, $12 are $18 for boxed pizza. That's what, 10 inches, 12 inches wide? Milk skyrocketing. Eggs are going to quadruple now that the chickens have a major disease. Don't you understand? Diseases are caused by humans, especially when suddenly now it's killing chickens. They eliminate the chicken farms and stuff like that. Where do you go? Now, Mr. Musk and Gates are in control of a lot of things. And one is happening to buying up all the farmland. He doesn't believe in eating meat. So guess what you're going to be eating in a couple years? Bugs. Seriously. This company's making food out of it right now. And this is the most disgusting thing I ever heard. They're making milk from roaches. You know, we're in trouble, people. And if you know, well, I'll get into aliens and what they eat. But again, what do you think they'll be eating soon? Now, the Hindu people, Indian people, stopped killing cows for a reason. Not because they were sacred. They classified them as sacred. But they were killing them all. And there was only a few left. And if they didn't put something on them, they would have wiped them out completely. So, where do we want to go from here? What are you going to do when it comes to election time? Are you going to think about what's really going on? Now, we can't change the system because people don't act together in enough situations as a group. 100 people, 1,000 people, even 1 million people. There's 330 million people in the United States. If 1/3 of them or half of them boycotted one thing, if everybody stopped eating meat for 1 month, it would destroy the economy. But people can't do that. I ain't giving it up. I ain't going to do that. People aren't willing to go out of their way to make a change, and all they talk about is we need a change. Change the class of system from a controlled rich government to a middle class poor government. Why is it, people? You have to be rich to run, to pay for all this stuff? No, anybody running for presidency should be given a set amount of money, period. And they all should have to run off of that money. On TV, they all should get the same amount of time, period. But then again, they need to say something important. Not the same stories. Tell the truth about things. What's really going on? And you still have to be rich to run. How is that, people? Because when the Constitution was made, you know all those names? You know anything about Aaron Burr, Hamilton? They had a great duel. One killed the other because he called his girlfriend a whore. And that's the truth. Then we go to the Juma Mansion. George Washington built the first headquarters in the United States there. I used to work there. Did stuff there with one of the top channelers in the United States. I worked on ghost busting in those time frames because there was a lot of dead souls there. Dead people that died there that left their souls there, including Aaron Burr. All right, Hamilton was killed already. But people, do you understand what's going on? When these people got together to create a constitution, what do you think it was for? Well, you're allowed to carry guns because you need to kill Native people. How sick are people to accept things like that? Well, I'm going to bring aliens into this a little bit later. But as far as right now, when they were creating a constitution, they stole a big part of it from the Native people. Seriously, really. Look at the eagle symbol. What is in the talons of the eagle? What's arrows have to do with the Constitution? Well, the Native tribes formed the 5 tribes. They said as a tribe will get slaughtered, but as a group of tribe will survive. And they took like one arrow and he broke it over his knee, and he said he has 5 arrows and he couldn't break it over his knee. But that was a symbol of what it really meant. And that's the symbol for the United States. All right, yeah, you can't kill an eagle. You go to jail. You can't have an eagle feather. You go to jail. They even put Native people in jail if they have a Native feather and don't have a tribal card. Tribal people are allowed to do whatever they want, people with eagles, hawks, and all that. But they have to be a true Native person. People, do you understand the little things that are going on around all the big things you're worrying about? Gas prices, food prices, rent. Who's running our country, people? Biden? Do you think he has a clue what's going on? Do you think he knows what's going on in the underground cities right now? Do you really think he does? Do you know how many people live in these underground cities? And they're all over the United States. What kind of transportation, what kind of food they have? It's better than up here. And how is it nobody talks about it? You ever hear one person in government? Well, I'm going down into the underground city today. Really? Why don't you hear that? Who do you think's spending the money to build them or built them? Denver Airport, the biggest controversial story out there, and it's a real story. But nobody wants the truth about what really goes on there, what it is, and what was created there, and what it's for in the future, meaning in the next 10 years. I'm not going to go into that story. It's a long story and complicated. But find out about Denver Airport. Look at the murals that were on the walls inside it when it first opened. All right. In the middle of the floor, I'm going to tell you one thing. For the first 2 years when it opened, they extended Denver Airport. In steel, in the main room where you go in and buy your tickets, there was a steel circle about 30 feet wide. It said U.S. Air Force New World Order in steel, engraved on the floor, where everybody walked over it every single day. Next to it was a triangle capstone. It had pictures of presidents and trophies and all this weird stuff in it. All right. And then it goes deeper and deeper into why and what's going on there and why it had this conveyor belt with all these things going on. All the things fit to the story. Read about it. Behold the Pale Horse. Read that book. It'll give you an understanding of what Denver Airport really is. I went there. I saw it. I got pictures of it. My computer was crunched. I mean, they took everything out of it. I was one of the only people on the planet that had pictures of that. People walked over it every day and never even took a picture of the floor. I was there early in the morning, and I was on the second deck where it has a little sign saying U.S. New World Order. But when you look down, you see the big steel circle. And I had pictures of it. Even in that book, there's no pictures of that. I mean, there's pictures of the murals in there of dead babies of different tribal people. Black, yellow, red, which was prejudice, obviously. But they took them from the top of the airport and moved them down underground because they started building the underground cities there. If you notice, the technology changed when they started building underground cities. If you look for miles, and Jesse Ventura did a show on it years ago, miles and miles of piles of rocks they dug out from Denver Airport. Why? Where did it come from? What were they building? Well, the technology changed to laser, and they could shoot a beam and create a tubular tunnel. They don't have to move rocks and bury them, dig them, and all that kind of stuff. And they built subways, circular subways. It's all real, people. He went to a base under the New World Order's home base, which is in what do you call it? The Ozark. It's got a 6-foot wall around it. It's bigger than the White House, and it's a private home, really, with guards around it. Jesse Ventura got that far. Couldn't go any further than that. But somebody came to him, hey, you want to go into the underground city? Which is directly under it. Took him down this road in a little hole in a cave, mountain, and they drove through there, and they drove to this giant underground city, which was closed off by all these steel doors everywhere. And then outside, there was a giant parking lot with thousands and thousands of cars. Really, people? I'm not making this up. Jesse Ventura was taken off the air 2.5 years into his show. He exposed more things than anybody else, for real. Not, well, I want to prove this. He proved everything. That he had his son and his friends investigating whatever they were into and proved it and showed it. They went to FEMA camps and showed children living in FEMA camps. He talked about the HARP system. He talked about a lot of things on that show, people. He was one of the bravest people to go out there. And I'll tell you, the end of the story, Fred Bell, not Art Bell, Fred Bell, is involved with the UFO world, was friends with Billy Myers and that whole thing. Well, he did the show with Jesse Ventura. And it's about the HARP system. And he goes, aren't you worried about the government? Fred Bell goes, no, I'm not worried. I work for the government. He goes, well, what about me? He goes, well, you're too high up in the mainstream. They can't take you out. They did the show. It was on the air. 2 days later, before he even left the hotel he was in, he was dead. Fred Bell. I mean, his company's still out there, Paradigm. He's got inventions and devices and medicine that was given to him from Billy Myers' alien friends, which he was actually on their ship. But who cares? Nobody wants to believe anything. But they'll believe Stephen Greer saying, well, aliens are good and we need to talk to them. People, our morals have been twisted. Our truth is not available. And we don't have any real facts. Well, most people in the United States do not. And just to tell you, other countries, France, Italy, know more about Native history than people in the United States do. For real. Well, you can't get a white person to tell you the truth about Native people because they killed them all, or as many as they could. But you know, like Moses, you classify him as a demon. When he came up the mountain, he classified all the people out there as demons. And he had them killed. When he came to the United States, the Native is always represented by red Indians, right? Because it relates to the devil, and the devil is always usually related as red. Horrible way to relate to things, but that's the way it gave them the right to kill Native people in their own mind. People killing will never be right, no matter who does it, where you do it, or who tells you to do it. It will never be right, people. I'll get into aliens later in a little bit. But it will never be right. Killing a person that's a murderer is not right. No person alive has the right to kill another person. That's a spiritual law. Go against that, you create karma, and you'll reincarnate many times. But people don't want to hear that either. Oh God, Jesus protected me. I got forgiven. You don't get forgiven, people, if you believe that. and you're a Christian, read the Bible. Read Revelations, written by St. John. Read where he talks about what can be forgiven or what can't be. Read it. Your Bible, not mine. I read it 3 times from cover to cover. I was going to become a priest, not a priest, but uh, a minister, until they said, "Oh, well, you got to donate 40% of your salary to the church." I mean, there are rules and regulations to everything, and it has nothing to do with God, nothing to do with spirituality. A government is pathetic, but considering the White House has all these things like Moses and the symbols of religion and stuff around it, how's that? How many people in there actually believe? I mean, our vice president, Trump's vice president, uh, uh, is religious, all right? And he's going against abortion, which has nothing to do with it. I mean, if you believe in the Bible, you can't allow all these other things which they allow and accept and make law legal. People, you're in a screwed up place right now, and it's not going to get better. And if you're not aware of where you are, you better become aware. Not go into the bliss state and hide out in the never land, because your body's still here. Well, what do people want? What do you want in your life? Peace, love, passion, no poverty. Are we making any of that possible? Of course not. We're closer to major wars. Other countries are in war right now. Putin's killing people. No matter what he says, thinks, he's on a horrible path of horrible karma. Oh, I want to go into prisoners just for a bit. All right. Killing a prisoner because they're bad is not legally right for a person to do. Spiritually right, I should say, not legally. Put him in a cage. Feed him bread and water until he dies. Oh, well, we're all getting slowly killed no matter what we do anyway. Well, why should we pay $150,000 for a person in jail so that they have clean clothes, 3 meals a day, entertainment, free sex whenever they want, and all those words? When poor people don't even get what? How much do they get in a year? $11,000? $20,000? And you're supposed to live on that? And they're good people, working people, trying to? People, do you know what the word moral means? I'm sure you don't, because you don't live by them, don't understand them, and don't accept them. You can do whatever you want. One of the most spiritual law is the law of non-interference, which 99.9% of everybody interferes with other people. All right. How much money do you think Trump's spending to do all the things he's doing? How much money do you think they spend? How much money do they grub from people? For what? Money isn't what we need. We need actual words that lead to action. We're going to guarantee poor people aren't starving on the streets and don't get harassed and die. I just found out recently 5 homeless people in California die daily. The police come, they harass them, they take their things away and leave them there. And the other thing is the people that live on the beach, the homeless people, they got the system down too. You get 3 cards for sleeping on the beach at night. You go to jail. And the homeless people, they look when the game's coming up. Oh, I want to see that game. They go to sleep on the beach, get 1, they keep 2. And they always save the 3rd one to when they want to go to jail, because then they get a couple meals and watch the game. And then where do they live? On the beach, right next to the ocean every day. Some of them think it's a beautiful life. The system's screwed up, people. Do you understand where we're headed? All right. Now, don't worry. This isn't going to last a long time. If you ever heard or understood the word New World Order, It's real. Jesse Ventura, not Jesse Ventura, Alex Jones, sorry, brought attention to that over and over. Jesse Ventura eventually went to expose that as well when he went up to the Ozarks and he showed the home of the future of the New World Order. All right? But what is it? The richest people on the planet get together 2, 3 times a year and decide what they're going to do with the planet for the next year or two. Really? They released a video of Mr. Trump, Mr. Bush and his father doing ceremony, which the New World Order has, ceremony. It was only about 30 seconds. It lasted a couple of days and it disappeared. But it was real, people. Some person was on the second floor, filmed it, put it out right away. If you film anything important, people, put it online right away, even if it gets taken off no matter what. Because if you get caught with it before it's public, you're in serious trouble. A friend that I know, John Ford, had the best video filmed of a ship that crashed on Long Island. The best video ever taken. He was arrested and declared insane, and he was put in a nut house, and he's still in a nut house right now. But I saw the video. He made 4 copies of it and sent it around the world to people that will release it only if he dies. Government can't put him in jail because he could die in jail. They keep him in a nut house. Since 1996, people, every year now, he has a chance for parole or go into court, which he wants to do. And when the time comes up, the government comes in and says, oh no, we have to reevaluate you, which means he has to stay in the nut house for another year. And that's been going on since 1996. On public TV, United States, in New York City, and basically I lived in New Jersey, man arrested. He had a barrel of uranium and he was going to put it in toothpaste and kill people in government. Really? Are you that brain programmed to believe that someone could walk around with uranium and put it in somebody's toothpaste and not dying right away? Do you believe that? Well, that's what he's in the nut house for. All right. What do they do with the barrel of uranium? Nobody could have a barrel of uranium. You know what it would cost? How would you get it? Where would you get it? How would you transport it? People, it goes on TV, and what the people say, people believe it. I'm in the UFO world. 99% of the UFO speakers are full of it, telling stories, twisted stories, and telling you lies about what's happening. Aliens aren't good. No race is good, people. Well, that's like saying nobody unites the people on the planet. There's no good and bad. We're all bad people because we're all here. We all kill, abuse, lie, cheat, smoke, drink, do drugs. All those things. We're in hell, people. Jesus came to take people out of here, not to keep them here. He always said, my father's world is places, and he wasn't talking about planet Earth. All these people that want to live forever because they're afraid to die. Rich people should be. Reincarnation is not a good thing. All it means you come back, start all over, and don't remember that you were here before. Sure, a few people are remembering that they were here before because their karma is getting more paid off. If you walk a right path, you don't have to come back. Simple. But as far as aliens coming here, it's a totally different ballgame. But before I go into that, the world is under control right now. The thing that's happening, which people listen to, don't believe, don't want to. UN Agenda 21-30. Dig it up, pull it out, look for it, find out what it really means. They're in stage 4. Basically, it's the amount of years before they get full control of one world order. All right? What's going to happen? at least half of the population will be depleted. It goes into the details, people. What they're going to do stage by stage, how they're going to create it. Well, global warming is created, people. It's not natural. But on this agenda, 193 countries agreed on it. They believe that one person, one order will make the world better. That's called single dictatorship of a world. But who would this person be? Sure, not somebody like Jesus. Maybe somebody like Moses with psychic abilities and the ability to do things. How about an alien? Who's controlling these people? Do you know anything about programmed people? I do in the UFO world. All these so-called word people coming out. I'm an experiencer, meaning they were programmed on a ship. That's what it means. And they believe they had a great time. Pull up people like Corey Good, what he said, what they showed him, and things like that. But then we got Thor, Baron Thor, who came into the White House, an alien with psychic abilities. Real story. People don't want to hear it. But Alnek, I can't even say it right. Well, she says she's a Venusian from Venus. She came here at 6 years old, took on a body. She's still teaching up at Mount Shasta. She died, almost died 2 years ago. I wanted to ask her a simple question, but she goes, "Oh, I want $50." She didn't, but her person working for her said she needs $50 to talk to you. I said, I don't need to pay money to talk to somebody. But people, there's a lot more stories out there that are real. Area 51 isn't an important story. Roswell is not an important story. Area 51 is a government program. It's called defense, people. You can't show the world what you do in defense, or it's useless. If Russia and China knew all the technology that we have, it would be useless. Sadly, they sold out people to aliens to get what they wanted from the aliens. And you'll hear UFO people, they don't talk about it much, do they? Oh, this project was about building this. It was about, why do you think mankind wants to leave, why certain people want to leave planet Earth? All right? If you listen to Corey Good, the world's going to be destroyed. If you listen to Cavalacius, he said the world's going to be destroyed. And a lot of people say it is. Read Revelations. But how and why? There's always a reason. God doesn't turn over and say, "Oh, I feel like doing a bad thing today." No, it's not like that, people. God gave humans the ability to think by thought and things like that. Animals don't. They just do things. So you're living in a world with just about 8 billion people. A world, 8 billion people. That's a lot of people. But only 330 million live in the United States. Not a big percentage. There's 22 million millionaires, people, who control everything in the United States. And the people that run for politics need their money. If we eliminate money, we could eliminate rich people being in control of the world. But as long as people think money is the only thing that matters, and anybody that says they'll help them get more money, they'll accept it. People, we're running out of time. We're running out of the ability to change anything. Trump getting in is going to change the world. They're fighting over abortion. What's it have to do with the average family living, starving? Nothing. The children starving, homeless on the streets. Nothing. Hawaii has the highest number of drug addicts, the highest number of homeless people, based on the number of the people, the population of the country, of the states. Do you understand where we're going? I don't think so. Putin came out and said, tell the world what they're doing with aliens. Tell the world what really happened at 9/11. Facts never came out about that, and nobody cares. the stories that were created around it. And these top contractors know that this had to happen or that couldn't happen, and it's all lies because nobody told the truth ever. I was out there during that time frame, and that smog that's killing people or kill people today was horrible. I was on a roof with a friend of mine, and it was the whole city was covered with this horrible smog that was toxic. The trade centers were both lined with asbestos as well. They were both condemned 3 months before that happened. There was a special on TV about it. They put out 1.5 tons of raw sewage into the Hudson River daily. And it needed to be, all the walls ripped open and replaced, the asbestos and all that. Think they wanted to spend the money to do that? The three companies that own the planes are the same three companies that own the buildings. All this was public 3 months before it happened. The buildings were built. They couldn't fall over. If they fell over, they would destroy New York City. They would flood the underground tunnels. They would do a lot of damage to everything, and a horrible disaster would happen. So they had to be 100% guaranteed that if anything happened to those buildings, they would go straight down. And they did, didn't they? And nobody even knows about the third building, how or why it went down. And it sure wasn't a plane crashing into it, was it? People, you live by lies. You believe the lies. And when somebody tells you the truth, you don't want to hear it. Do you want to hear the truth about Jesus? Do you want to hear the truth about Moses? Do you want to hear the truth about life and death? No spiritual speaker out there, and I challenge anybody today, worldwide, to defend God, defend Jesus, and the truth of what they are, what they stand for, what Jesus came here for to do. Then again, Mary Magdalene was the most spiritual woman to ever live on this planet. And she's not even accepted in most paths and religions. The Knights of Templar followed Mary Magdalene. No other tribe did. Wasn't respected. Her and Thomas were the only people that left the country alive. Why would you kill a spiritual person? Think about it. Because people don't live by spiritual morals, don't understand spirituality, and accept the negative feelings from a dark side. I'm not going to get into that, but the dark side is winning on this planet. Jesus couldn't kill Satan, could he? And didn't take Satan out. Satan's in charge of this lower realm. And when people talk about aliens, who do you think controls them as well? They're killers. They're not lovers. They're not compassionate. None of them are people. They never gave one person anything. How's that possible? They never gave us any important information. Ever. I'm not talking about the army and weapons. That's not important information. And it's not to help mankind move forward. The world's becoming radioactive. Alien races need to be radioactive planet to live on. Nobody's talking about that either. The show I do every Tuesday with Tina Bird, she's been abducted on and off all her life, and lots of stories, proof, and everything else. But she's radioactive on and off, which is impossible. I made her buy a Geiger counter when we started doing the show. And we take them out. We both bought the same one, believe it or not. And then she broke hers and got another one. We're not using trick radio Geiger counters to prove anything. We're proving that she's deathly sick. I don't know how long she's going to be here. She has all the symptoms of radiation poisoning. It gets worse and not, and then it gets better, and then it gets worse again. She's always in the hospital. They don't know what's going on with her heart. They don't know what's going on with this, that, and the other thing. They cut something out of her stomach and will not show the world what happened. They filmed the operations, and they said it's too controversial to release it. How do you film somebody getting an operation? And that was years ago. She just got a letter saying, oh, it was a birth control device cut out of her stomach. No, it wasn't. How could you be ignorant? Why would you put a birth control device in a person's stomach? And why would it be so big? And why would it be put there if she didn't want it there? All right? Think about it. All the stories that come out when John Ford was arrested in Long Island, he had uranium. Really? I went out to where the ship crashed, and the evidence is still there. People, we don't need to think about Roswell. They don't talk about when the White House was covered with fleets of UFOs for 2 different days in a week. And that was in 1952, the year I was born. And they weren't drones, people. Germany was working on satellites, but they couldn't even get off the ground. You could believe what you want. Oh, Germany, we are the most advanced technically in the world. And you think they're going to tell the world that? Well, right now they came out with a laser, a holographic computer keyboard for a computer right now. They just released it last year. All right? The technology's there. When we get it, it's 25 to 50 years old. They have a machine, I'll tell you this, they have a machine they can put on a person when they go to sleep and actually watch their dreams. It's actual energy, and energy could be transformed into whatever they want it to. The technology is beyond your wild consumption, expectation of what it could be even. But it's not for us. It's only for the rich and the way they're going to survive. The underground cities are for the rich to survive after the destruction that's going to happen to the planet. People, do you understand anything about aliens? I'm going to throw this in before I go into aliens. Jesus was a real person, people. Never said he was God. Ever. He had abilities, 32 psychic abilities, which is something that a person that goes through ascension gets. And there's nobody on this planet that did. And you'll hear all these people say, well, I went through ascension. No, they didn't. They would have psychic abilities. Carol Corey claims she could levitate a piece of paper. If you could levitate a piece of paper, you could levitate a house, you could levitate a car. She says you can change DNA. DNA is not really hard to change, people. But it's not changing much, really. The medicine woman I studied with and worked with for 27 years, worked with a scientist. And a prayer that I do over my food changes the energy of the food. Really. And they proved it. And that's what Caroline Corey's doing now. She had these scientists measure a glass of water, and she put her hands over it. And she's talking about now. The medicine woman I worked with died a couple of years ago. All right, she was related to one of the most famous Native people ever. Great-granddaughter. But people, do you care what's going on, really? I know it's hard to deal with the stuff that you got to deal with and to go beyond that. But if you don't, we're all going to die in the swallow, whatever you want to call it. Because we let rich people who do not care about things that you and me have to. Sure, when your son dies or gets hit by a car and dies or whatever, they have to deal with it. But I guarantee you, if they could have paid the other driver not to drive, go out drunk, or they would have did anything they had to do to stop things from happening. Like Mr. Gates and Musk, there's another person I can't think of, but they're all paying millions and millions of dollars to find a pill they could take to live forever. Because they like living in hell. They like being in control and power. Taking away our food, really? Making us eat bugs. Do you think that's where you want to go? Who are you going to vote for? Trump or Biden? They're both too old. Trump's into money and Biden's in La La Land. But they're controlled. They don't have the power to do much, really. Except push the button. Why don't they just push the button and end it for everybody? Trump had the ability to do that. So does Biden. What if he had a bad day? Again, people, are you aware where we are, who's in control, and why? Remember Cyndi Lauper's song, Money Changes Everything? It does, but nothing for the better. All the money, all these rich people, 22 million millionaires. If they all donated 10%, they could solve every problem in the United States of homeless and all that. But do they? And you don't think spiritual realms and angels and all those other things aren't watching? Why do you think they're letting aliens come here now? Because of Mr. Tesla? Who do you think he worked with? Not God, not Jesus, not angels. He worked with an alien race. He came out with 50 of the most deadliest weapons on the planet, people. And time travel is destroying our reality. And it's real. But you want to live in La La Land. Watch TV. A lot of it's based on fact. If you ever watched X-Files, they were all real stories taken from a police department, including the alien thing. If you watch the movie, the first movie, not the second one was really stupid, but the first one was based on what was really going on in the UFO world. Hold on 1 second. I got to take a quick break. Sorry about that, people. Interruption. All right, to get back to where we weren't. All right. Money changes everything. It sure does. Every which way. But never for the better. All right. I wasn't going to go further, but I am. All right. Now, I want to talk about aliens a short bit because it's happening everywhere. Interruptions. Hold on. A little munchkin dog wanted to come in. Alright. Sorry about that. Alright. If you notice, there's UFO sightings every day now. Videos, pictures going up. Most people say, oh, they're fake, they're fake. If 100 pictures came out in a week, if one of them was real, guess what? It's real. But if they're all real, or if most of them are real, we're in trouble, people. I can tell you, I'm in Hawaii, and I can see ships every morning. If it's clear at night, I can film them. I have about 10 people in the neighborhood watching the skies at night now, and they all see different things. One filmed an incredible video. He won't let me have it, and he won't put it up online. He filmed 10 ships coming out of the ground. Not drones, people. They came up like this, went around in a circle, like that, out into the universe. And he filmed the whole thing. He was on the back of a truck with a laser and a camera. People, when I say who's controlling us, what's really going on, I mentioned this on the show I did 2 days ago, but yesterday, sorry, not 2 days ago. But there's an alien base next to every any real army base. You don't think they watch what we do? If you know somebody can destroy you, your home, your planet, what would you do? You could just take them out. But sadly, here's the part that people do not talk about in the UFO world. Why do you think they're here? Well, I think, I think these people think a lot about what they don't know. How do you think about something you don't know? Describe God. I can, and I'll talk about it, and I do shows on it. How many people? The top 5 so-called spiritual people: Deepak Chopra, Eckhart Tolle, the Dalai Lama, the Pope, and even throw Oprah up into the top there as well. Cannot talk about God. Can't talk about death. Can't talk about reincarnation. And they're considered top spiritual people. What's spiritual mean, people? Do you understand that word? Aliens have very little feelings and emotions. Or if they stick you with a knife, they don't, oh, I'm sorry, things like that. They don't care. You should be a little worried. Let me see if I can just tie out one thing. It's a little bit dark, but sorry. Where do you think that's headed? What do you think they want us for, people? Not because we're smart. They had to give Tesla a whole bunch of things to change our evolution in a bad way. Time travel is not beneficial, people. Free energy? We always had free energy since I was about 18. Better World Technologies. He had a machine that could take energy out of the air. I mean, after a year of chasing him, they put him in jail. He paid millions of dollars. He got out. And he was installing them on people's property and said, send me the money, send me the money. And he disappeared. All right. And that was a long time ago. Tesla came out with free energy in 1900. But he was given that for a reason. And the whole project, when it became the Montauk Project, but which started as the Philadelphia Experiment, what are people talking about? They don't know much about it. I was friends with Al Bielek. He was the one that went back in time. The first person to go back in time, really. All right? I learned a lot. They offered him $4 million many years later to go back in time to take somebody out. Because they screwed up history. Somebody died when they went back the first time. You can't kill somebody in past history. It rearranges all of history. One person could have 10 families. 10 families could have another 10 families. It could have been a whole different generation, which it was, or could have been, but changed. All right, time travel is dangerous, and we don't have the right to play with it. Aliens do, because they control the world, the universe. Out of place artifacts means objects that shouldn't exist in our reality. Aliens can put something in our reality whenever they want, whatever it is. But isn't it said they don't give us anything beneficial to make the world better or help us? And they sure don't care about people, sex, abuse, and all that kind of stuff. War, they get more bodies to take. Now, they need food just like every other person on this planet does. We raise cows, we raise chickens, they raise humans. Sure, they're taking people to another planet. You think it's because we're going to teach them anything important? Anything that they want to learn? If I was 1,000 years old and you were 100, you think I'd be listening to you for anything? They're thousands and thousands of years older than us. Technically, not spiritually. They have no clue to the word. You cannot kill in this dimension, this realm, this reality, and think it's okay. No reason. There's no reason for it to happen. And if it does, you're responsible. And that's called karma. Buddha was right. He taught about karma, cause and effect. Not forgiveness. Go to a church, ask for forgiveness, and you're forgiven. Jesus said, go out and sin no more. He didn't say come back next week. Where do people come up with these perverted, twisted ideas and you listen to it? You follow a religion. The Muslims follow Gabriel. I gotta go over this. These people don't listen. I know if you're listening to the show, if you made it this far, good luck, because most people can't stand the truth and have to leave. Alright, now, when that was going on, when Muhammad met with Gabriel, what do you think Gabriel told them? Read their books. Read what he was saying. I read them. They contradict each other. I did 36 phrases, and they all contradict. Every third one contradicts the one before it. How's that? Why would an angel contradict themselves? They don't need to. They're not here for that reason. They're not teachers. Not in this realm. Not in this reality. They don't teach you to get a better job. They don't teach you how to drive. They don't teach you any of that kind of stuff. They teach you about soul when you leave your body and what and all that kind of stuff. Not this stuff. People, who do you pray to? And why? For protection? You're going to die. And you have no clue how you're going to die. And Jesus is not going to protect you from which way you die. You could die by sickness, could die by a plane, could die by a meteorite hitting your house. But you're going to die. Even if you live to 125, you're still going to die. Or they died of old age. What's old age? The body's deteriorating, but soul doesn't. And if soul doesn't learn anything, it's really deteriorating with the body. And it'll come back to another body and start all over. Aliens are reincarnating into humans now. They're trying to take a step up. They're learning to take a step up. Being master of the universe and controlling the universe is not an important thing. In this reality it is, but even in the astral plane it's not. And dimensional beings are a lot different than aliens, people. Dimensional beings don't come in spaceships. And please, anybody that claims to work with spiritual beings, come out and tell the world what it says. Not like conversation with God. God can come down and say, love everybody, it's all a matter of love. No, it's not. Love has not helped us. It's only 2,020 years old, and it's not helping mankind, not even in a relationship anymore. So what is love good for? Nothing if you don't know what it really is. And nobody does. Love has to do with God. Nothing else. Not cats, dogs, people, children, planes, cars, boats. Has nothing to do with that. I love my car. I love my computer. I love... No, it's not. It's not love. It's attachment. Attachment keeps bringing people back to this reality, people. So, I did the show for a while today. I know people are upset and don't want to hear it and don't care. And go right ahead. Live your life until you can't. It's not going to be long before you're stuck in a world and a reality that you really hate being in. People hate the reality now. Why does 90%, 80% of the planet that have any kind of money drink, smoke, and do drugs? Because they can't deal with it. And they just said on the news, 8 out of 10 people are depressed. I wonder why. Depression is being in the place where you don't want to be. And the things around you have no control over, and they're not what you want to happen. You're going to go into depression. I was always depressed all my life. All the things I had to go through, nothing good. My relationships turned into horrible nightmares. So what did I learn about love? Yes, I did, the hard way. People, do you want the truth? I keep saying that. Please, ask a question. Ask a real question. What you think you know. What is spirituality? Feeding homeless people? Feeding chickens until we eat them? Feeding cows? Feeding rabbits until we eat them? Is that spirituality? Taking care of your children? Making them go from one school to another? Taking away certain friends and making them have other friends? Teaching them a religion that they don't want to know? What's spirituality, people? You don't know. If you never left your body, you have an out-of-body experience, met with an angel or guide, whatever words, gone into the other realms, you have no clue what's really out there that you can move into if you want to. But, well, you see a beautiful tree, beautiful ocean. Oh, this is so beautiful. I have a friend around the corner. He goes on about the trees, and look at the tree across the street, look at the flowers. Yeah, well, guess what? When you're starving next week, you're going to be trying to eat them. People, this is a time when you either have to move forward or fall down. Because you're not going to be able to stand up, because you're not going to have food, you're not going to have a place to live. Then what? The chemicals they're spraying over you every single day. They do it here in Hawaii. They're testing bombs on the mountain, people. This world's created for rich people. Not you and me. Am I worried about dying? No. Because when I die, I go to a better place than here. I don't have to come back here. And until you understand that, can you really move forward? Most people are afraid of death. They don't know what can happen or where they're really going to go. I'll be in heaven. No priest, no minister will describe it. I was doing that at 14. Well, nobody knows. Nobody knows. People know. People that have been there and done it know. People that sit here and think about the tree growing on over their house or whatever, they don't know. And they don't care. All these spiritual people claiming to take away your karma. They cannot, people. Taking away your sickness. That's your mind. Your mind creates 90% of what you deal with. Good or bad. And you're telling yourself that you're cured. You can be. But if it's your karma, all right, it'll take you out in the next lifetime. Meaning when you die, the karma determines where you're going to go. You could stay on the astral plane or reincarnate. Now, let's go into that real fast. The Egyptians, the Mayans, the Aztecs were working with aliens. They have no clue about death. No clue about God. And when you sacrifice something, you're going against the spiritual law. Aliens screwed up the human race when Atlantis was destroyed. They taught humans how to kill. And eat animals and everything else along the way. People, I hope you got something out of today if you listen. Whoever's here comes in, listens to it. If you ever make it this far, please email me, hawksblood1@aol.com. But I'm sure truth is not ringing in your ear. It's ringing in your brain and making you want to run and hide. Most people like to hide from the truth. That's not where it's at, people. And you will find out every day, every month goes by. Next couple years, you're going to realize what's going down. Why are aliens really here? What's really going on? Why does people want to go to other planets? We can't make Earth better, so we're going to try to go to another place to make that better? Really? You're going to bring the ocean with you? You're going to bring a shower with you? You're going to bring a clothes factory with you? What are you going to bring with you? How much can you bring with you at a time? Well, the stories are, there's like 1.5 million people on the moon. There's like 25 races on Mars. Well, do you want to believe any of it or not? Hide from it or not? But there was a base on the moon a long time ago, and I saw a video of it. Shot by an astronaut. People, you aren't ready for the truth. You don't want the truth. You want to live in a lie. That's your choice. But your choice is, if you live in a lie, you're going to die in a lie. I'd rather die in the truth. Period. All my life, everything I do is given in truth under God. Period. I have to pay nobody back except God itself. I'm responsible to God only, not you, Joe Schmo, Peter Pan, every UFO speaker, every religious speaker, every so-called psychic healer, all those words. The body's not beneficial to you as soul. And as soon as soul learns that, it doesn't need to be in it. I had 5 death experiences. And the last one I was told I didn't have to come back. I said I got to finish one thing before I can leave. Well, I did 2 books. My book now, I'm trying to get it edited. It's for women only. It'll probably be the most important book a woman could read. I'm sure men will hate it to the max. But I can't even get a person to edit it. Women are so afraid. They're afraid of reading stuff about what could happen or what happens and things like that. Why's that? Man has been deceitful, evil for a long time. Women never had equal rights, ever, and they still don't, people. Well, with that, people, I'm closing the show today. I don't know what you hear. I'm sorry. I hope there wasn't music in the back of me. But till next time, Tuesday, 12 at California time, I'll have Tina Bird on with me, hopefully. And more truth about UFOs and aliens. You heard it here, at least for today. Who knows about tomorrow? Whatever it is you want, don't stop until you get it. Make sure it's the truth.
The sky